Right, so it's been quite a long time since I've done one of these tier list videos. I think in that time another 4 epic token awakenings have happened, and some things in the game have shifted a little bit, the meta shifted a little bit in terms of like new releases and whatnot, so I thought I'd do an update on it. So I think since my last one there's been Drake, Jaime, Melisandre and Salma. Salma, I don't have gold like the others, so she's got a bit of a special little icon there. Just gotta deal with what I have. Alternatively, she'd have to have a little green icon. That's all I have at the moment. For some of these lower tier ones, I don't think we need to get into them too much. I've already gone over them. You can probably just refer to the previous videos. So Raymond, not high priority, just passive buffs if you're like a max account that's buying up everything. Melisandre, probably the worst epic awakening in the game. Don't bother unless you're a somewhat high budget, like all bows player, I guess, which is so niche. Then there's Andrea, Lena, and Miranda, who have just been power creeped a ton. So there's been Lats, Enzo, and Drake released, which just do their job but better. They have higher stats and better 4-star abilities as well. I do think these 3 don't all belong in the same tier actually, which is potentially controversial because they're all the same commanders, they're just copy-paste of each other, but I actually think Enzo is a little worse for a few reasons. So, I mean, to 2-star he can be okay, but he can make rebel damage worse in places, just because he doesn't take as much damage, because obviously if you're awakening him, you probably have him gold, and if he's too tanky, and therefore can't take as much damage, he'll do less damage himself, because of how his passive works. Plus, I feel like these other 2 have a bit more synergy with the higher tier awakenings. So, Lats, for example, Imp is maybe the most popular frontline at the moment. You see most of the whales sending an Imp Cav quite a lot. So she naturally gains an advantage there because she buffs Imp frontlines so much. But as you'll see later in the tier list, a huge focus in the top tier at the moment is commander damage, but interactions between female commanders. And she's the only one of the 3 which is female, which gives her an in to that like meta awakening formation, which the other 2 do not have. So you'll quite often see Layla and Annie being a staple. There's also Arya now, who also has the active damage synergy. So Layla will proc Arya's active again, and then she'll do more damage, and they'll just keep ramping up and up and up. So there's a lot of synergy there. So the more female commanders you can run together, the better with that little setup. And I think a lot of people are waiting on that setup potentially being replaced or power creeped, and Jaime was meant to be the thing that did that, but that is not the case in my opinion whatsoever. The female commander damage setup is 100% still there, the best thing you can do. And then with Drake, I mean, Spear Front is a little bit better as like a blind frontline I think than Cav. Cav you don't really want to be like sending as a blind solo attack frontline, just because it's the squishiest for a few reasons, because of like march time to the front line, so it starts being attacked earlier, and spears having the highest base damage, so they counter it the hardest. I've gone to those things a few times before. But with Drake, you have Annie and Jaime now, who have very high base spear tanky stats on them whilst giving total attack. So if you're running Annie and Jaime together, Spear Front will just naturally be something you're buffing, like even unintentionally. So you can go all in on that with a Drake, and Drake will then proc Jaime's 4-star as well. So it helps with Jaime's synergy because it'll help his 4-star and make more use out of his spear tankiness. So I do think they're just a little better than Enzo generally, on a tier list at least. After that, there's Fionn. Fionn could maybe go down here, but for rally tanking, he is very, very strong. He's very good in the tavern too. He has leadership and combat rate, which is the best you can get. Jaime is the only other one on this list, I think, that has that. He used to not be too great in offensive situations just because no one was running bows, but now he has 45% total attack and you can run him in every formation, so he's not even bad offensively, to be honest. And he is the best for rally tanking for defensive situations, so he does, I think, belong in a higher tier. Just because he ticks so many boxes like Rebels, Tavern, offense, defense, he has a lot of uses there. Now I'm going to put Jaime in the same tier as him. He also has the best Tavern stats available. He has like 39.6% total attack, so a little bit less than Theon. And I just don't think his 4-star is good. It's so awkward to proc. Its only like counter synergy is against 4-star Cersei, which is so niche and just something most of us will be avoiding. Regardless, it probably has a place in like whale rallying scenarios, but in terms of the general player, I don't think he's that high value. And then like I said earlier, there is the female commander damage trio here. It used to be a duo. I think Salma, when she's gold, will go into a trio actually. Maybe a bit of a foursome with Arya even, just because they all have the synergy together. So Layla, I think, still is, when 4 stars, the best awakening in the game. I will stand by the fact before 4 stars, she isn't actually that good at all. The total attack is good, but you really want that 4-star ability to get her value. And then Annie will go beside her. At 4 stars, her 4-star is good, but it's not Layla tier of good. But at 2 and 3 stars, Annie is exceptional. And then Salma, I think, goes besides them. I don't think many people have seen her in action yet. I definitely haven't, but just looking at her, like, she'll have above 90% spear and cav attack at max, plus the total health. So say something like Layla. Layla will bring about 120% attack stats to like inf, cav, and spear in total, with like the 40% spread across them. Salma will bring over 180%, so it's over 60% more attack stats plus the total health for every frontline. That makes a huge difference. And then her 4-star, if you have all 4-star female commanders in your lineup, so say Layla, Annie, Salma, Arya, and Lats, all at 4-star, your base active ability castings throughout that fight will go from 20 to 24, so it's effectively a 20% increase in active castings, which will then help proc Layla and just exaggerate that advantage even more, which is crazy high value. It's just all the synergy with the female commanders. That is where the best value in Epic Token Awakening is right now. And then Julian, I think Julian belongs in S, to be honest. I feel like in my previous tier lists I've been a bit down on him, but he does have effectively like 75% total attack around that region, which is way higher than everything else. And the thing that makes him stand out, I feel like, is, let's say 3 stars. He's probably the best of any of these. He's probably the best, like, sort of budget epic awakening in the game. He'll always have value. He's very accessible in that sense. So whilst he doesn't have the synergy with these 3 others, I think that role he has as being that more affordable option that will just bring you so much value keeps him in that top tier. And obviously his 4-star is fairly decent now, because they did change it from, I think it was released as spear attack, and now it is just the troops attack damage increases, so that is better. But obviously just all these attack stats are huge value, near enough double the total attack something like Layla is bringing, which you cannot scoff at all. Yeah, I think that is my updated tier list. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with anything.